Welcome everyone to today's deep stretch workout. This is Katie. Just a reminder to keep some water nearby, enjoy your stretch, and listen to your body if you need to take breaks or adapt your workout. We're going to go ahead and start standing on our mat in a neutral standing position, feet under hips, toes facing forward. We're just going to start with some nice, great big arm circles. So taking our arms up, out, away from us, in front of us, down to the floor and behind us. We're going to make these really slow to start. Taking some deep breaths in through our nose, out through our mouth. And let's go ahead with every rotation, make those circles a little bit smaller until we get to about a dime-sized circle. And then we'll go ahead and reverse those arm circles now, taking them backwards, and we're making them nice and big again. Filling our chest with air with every inhale. And let's go ahead and make those arm circles now. Every rotation, they get a little bit smaller. And let's go ahead and release those arms back down by our sides. We can shake out the shoulders. Next, we're going to do some hamstring scoops. So I'm going to step my right foot out in front of me, just a normal step's width away. I'm going to put my heel down into the mat, point my toes up. And I'm going to take both my hands and slowly trace them down my leg towards my foot, feeling that stretch, that elongating of the hamstring. And then I'm going to bring myself back up to standing, leaving the foot out in front of me. So we'll just repeat there. Right leg only, hamstring scoops. Just doing these nice and gentle, nice and slow, feeling great stretch along the back of our leg.
Welcome to workout. Workout app. New navigation.
Whoops, somebody's got it.
Yep. Make sure we're exhaling as we reach down our leg. Inhale as we stand.
Almost 6 p.m.
And on this next one, let's go ahead and switch. We'll step our right foot back underneath us and step our left foot out in front of us. Heel down, toes up, and scooping down that left leg now. Feeling a pretty intense, or can be for some of us, stretch along the back of the leg. Personally, my hamstrings are very tight, so I am feeling this. And if you're not feeling it too much, try to pull those toes closer toward your shin. You might feel a little more stretch. All right, let's go one more here. Step that left foot back underneath our hips, and we're just going to do some nice slow motion glute kicks. So I'm going to bend my knee, kicking my right heel towards my right glutes, placing that foot back down and repeating on the left side. So just alternating slow motion glute kicks, starting to get those quads a little stretched, hamstrings active. And treat this as a little bit of a balance exercise as well. Try not to let all your body weight go into your standing leg. Try to keep yourself as centered as possible. Keeping that breath going. Let's go ahead and pause those glute kicks, and we'll stay in that neutral standing position. I'm going to place my hands on my hips if they weren't already there. We're just going to do our pelvic tilting. So I'm going to use my hands as kind of a feedback indicator, but I'm going to go ahead and push my hips forward, tucking my pelvis, and then I'm going to arch my back and stick my glutes towards the wall behind me. So just shifting my pelvis, tilting it forward and backward as much as I can here. It's not going to be a huge movement, but we want to warm up those muscles around our pelvis. Same motion as a cat-cow exercise, but we are standing. These are a great exercise to do if you do a lot of sitting at your job or just in general. We want to keep our pelvis mobile. Let's go a couple more breaths here. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves back to neutral pelvis. And we're going to take a nice wide stance with our feet, so about 2 steps outside of our hips, nice wide, kind of almost like a squat position. Pointing my toes slightly outward, and I'm going to take a slight bend in my knee, and I'm going to do a little Cossack rock. So I'm going to take all my weight over into my right leg, extending my left, stretching that inner thigh, and then I'm going to rock over to the left leg, extending the right leg, stretching the right inner thigh. And we'll just alternate there. Almost like a side lunge into each side, but we're keeping our feet stationary. We can have our hands on our hips or resting on our thighs, whatever feels good. You can also use a chair or table if you need a little extra support. Two more big breaths here. And let's go ahead and pause. We can bring our legs back together in a neutral standing position. And then we'll actually bring ourselves down to the mat. We'll be kneeling. So if you want to lower yourself now to the mat in a kneeling position, it's a half kneel, not tabletop. We're going to go ahead and just do some kneeling hip circles. So as I'm kneeling down here on the mat, I'm going to place my hands on my hips. Oh, excuse me. Was there a question? All right, so in that kneeling position, we're doing some hip circles. So hands are on my hips. I'm going to push my hips forward, to the right, back behind me, and to the left. So just drawing a nice big circle with only my hips. And we're starting clockwise to the right. Taking those big breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's go ahead and switch the direction of those hip circles. Stirring them now to the left, counterclockwise. Got an imaginary hula hoop.
What triggers the right then?
All right, let's go ahead and bring ourselves back to center. We're going to go into our first deep lunge. So I'm going to step my right foot out in front of me. Foot is flat on the mat, knees pointing forward. Left knee stays planted where it was at. I'm going to just walk that foot a little bit further away from me. I'm going to sink my hips down towards the mat and into that front kneeling leg. So deep lunge, stretching that left front of the hip, left hip flexors. And I have options with my hands here. I can keep them down on the mat. I can rest them on my right thigh, or I can use a chair or a wall for a little extra support. But mainly feeling that stretch in the front of the left hip. And we're gonna hold. This one might feel some tightness, some tension. Once again, if we do a lot of sitting, those muscles stay shortened so they get tight. And that's why we're here. Good. We'll keep holding there. Let's go ahead and from this position, we can stay here or we can raise our right hand up towards the ceiling. So kind of opening our body and chest to the right. So adding a little rotation here. Taking those big breaths. Let's go ahead and release that arm back down to the mat. We're going to keep our right foot planted out in front of us, but we're going to shift our hips back into a runner's lunge. So now my right leg is extended out in front of me. Heel is down in the mat, toes are up. Getting a nice stretch along the entire back of the right leg. Hamstrings, calves. Make sure we're taking these breaths, placing our hands where it's comfortable for us. And on your next breath, let's go ahead and bring that right knee back underneath our right hip. And we'll hit the other side. So stepping our left foot now out in front of us in this kneeling lunge position. And sinking my hips down into the mat, towards the floor, and into that right leg now. A nice deep lunge stretch. Placing my hands on the top of my left thigh on the mat or on my hips is great too. Plenty of options. Feeling that release in the front of our right hip. You can also get a lot of tension there from stress and other exercise. And we have the option to stay where we're at, or you can add that rotation, taking the left arm up, fingertips towards the ceiling, opening the chest and nose to the left. And although we're stretching, we're using those core muscles to keep us stable. Last big breath here. And we'll keep our left foot out in front of us, but we'll shift the hips back, straightening out to the left knee, keeping that left leg extended in a runner's lunge. Placing my hands where it's comfortable, but feeling that stretch along the entire back of the left leg. And if we need a more intense stretch, if we're not feeling it, just go ahead and pull those toes towards your shin. And on your next breath, let's go ahead and bring that left knee back underneath our hip. And we'll bring our hands down to the mat in that tabletop position. So elbows, wrists, and shoulders are stacked, knees are below hips. And we're going to shift into a child's pose from here. So I'm going to widen my knees out, just outside of my hips or to the sides of the mat. I'm going to walk my hands a couple paces forward, and I'm going to sit my hips back towards my heels. Child's pose. We can take our fingers and walk them out even further away from us. If we want a little deeper stretch. But we'll go ahead and relax here. Take a few breaths. You can rest your head on the mat if you'd like. Really feel your ribs and your stomach expand with every breath, every inhale. Let's go ahead and walk our fingertips over to the left side of the mat. And I'm going to kind of pull my right hip away from my hands and get a nice deep stretch in that side, that right side of my back. And we'll walk our fingertips over to the right side of the mat. Now pulling that left hip away from the hands, stretching the left side of the back. Keep those deep breaths going as we open the hips up and let them relax. Let's go ahead and walk our hands back to center, and we'll push our hips back up, rising to tabletop. And we're going to go ahead and shift into some cat-cows, of course, working on more of that pelvic mobility, pelvic tilting. So my wrists, elbows, shoulders are stacked. Hands are nice and wide, gripping the mat. Knees are under hips. My back is flat. And I'm going to go ahead and cow position. So I'm going to inhale, arching my back, tilting my hips up to the ceiling, pointing my nose up to the ceiling. And then I'm going to exhale, rounding the back, pushing the hips forward, pushing the shoulders away from my palms, and repeating. Inhale for cow. And exhale for cat. We're taking these nice and slow. The whole movement can take about 8 to 10 seconds. And make sure we're keeping that breathing involved. If you'd like to add a little sway with your hips side to side, feel free. Do what feels good. Good. Let's go a few more breaths here. On your next exhale, go ahead and come back to that neutral tabletop. We're going to keep our hips in exactly where they're at. We're going to walk our hands out from us a few paces, so kind of like a child's pose. So keeping my hips high, reaching my arms out in front of me into a kind of a puppy pose. So my hips stay high and in the air, but my arms have walked out, extended long in front of me. Feeling a nice stretch in the shoulders and back. From here, we're going to transition into a down dog. So go ahead and keep your hands planted where they're at. We're going to tuck our toes under our feet and raise our knees off of the mat, taking our hips up towards the ceiling, creating a triangle with our body. And feel free to pedal your heels. If they don't quite reach the ground, that's okay. Just pedal them out one at a time. Left heel down, right heel down. Trying to keep your legs as extended as possible. A slight bend in the knee is okay. The stretch will be deeper the more extended your leg is. I think we got some good news out in the office. I can hear them. Let's go ahead and take our right knee and place it down on the mat between our hands. We can let our left leg drop as well. So now we're in a pigeon pose. My right knee is between my hands and it's folded under my body. My left leg is extended long behind me. And some of us may be able to make that right shin parallel to the top of the mat for a little extra hip stretch, but I unfortunately don't have that mobility. So I'm going to stay right here and I can drop down to my forearms if I would like. Just taking some deep breaths here. We can add a small rock, left to right, just a gentle rock. And on your next inhale, go ahead and bring your hands back to either side of your knee. Tuck those left toes and bring ourselves back into a down dog. Hips towards the ceiling, really pushing away from your palms. Pedaling the heels. And we'll transition to pigeon on the left side. So I'm going to bring my left knee down between my hands, letting the right leg fall long behind me. Staying right here in this stretch or going to full pigeon if we have the range. And option to stay on our hands or come down to our forearms. And I'm going to take those deep restorative breaths. When our body is under high stress, our breathing rate tends to change. And so that's why breath is so important. It helps your body regulate and controls a lot of functions in our body. On your next inhale, let's get hands on either side of your knee again. Tuck the right toes and back up to one last down dog. Hips towards the ceiling. Push away from those palms. Keeping our legs as straight as possible. And on your next exhale, go ahead and gently lower yourself all the way down to the mat. And we are going to be lying bellies down, prone position. I'm going to extend my legs long out behind me. And we're going to be doing a Sphinx stretch with some breathing. So I'm going to get my palms down on the mat. My elbows are pretty much tucked right along my sides, kind of under my armpits. My nose is currently facing the mat. I'm going to take a big inhale, and I'm going to raise just my chest and about half of my rib cage or most of my rib cage off of the mat, bringing my nose towards the wall in front of me. Holding here for just a second, stretching out those abdominals. And I'm going to exhale and lower myself back down to almost a full lying position. We'll just repeat here. So inhale, extending ourselves into the Sphinx. Exhale, lying. You can take your nose towards the ceiling.
Is Sphinx kind of like an up dog?
I'm unfamiliar with the up dog.
Okay. Are you on your belly with your elbows on the floor and lifting up your chest?
Yes.
Kind of. Okay.
No.
All right.
It's kind of like the
Excuse
baby
me.
cobra.
Yeah, it's not up dog. Up dog has the tops of your feet on the ground. I mean, you're lifting yourself all the way up, and your lower half stays on the ground for this one.
Okay.
Yes.
That up dog is more active. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Thank you all.
Okay.
I was like, that description sounds
Thank
great.
you.
Let's just take a couple more breaths here. And on your next exhale, go ahead and lower yourself all the way down, and we can make a pillow with our hands, so right over left or left over right. And we're going to go into a lying quad stretch. So I'm going to kick my right heel towards my right glutes, and I can stay there, or I can reach around with my right hand, grabbing my right ankle and pulling that heel a little bit closer for a little deeper stretch. Make sure we're taking those breaths, just relaxing, feeling if our body is guarding, trying to release. And let's release that right leg down. We're going to go into it now, a half frog on this right side. So keeping my left leg extended long, I'm only moving my right leg. I'm going to take it out to the side and I'm going to drag my right knee up towards my right hip, creating a 90-degree angle with my right leg, opening up that right hip. So getting a nice stretch between inner thigh and hip. And let's go ahead and release that leg back down, extended long. And let's repeat that quad stretch now on the left side, kicking left heel towards left glutes, staying there or reaching the left hand around to grab the left ankle and pull that foot a little closer to your backside. Feeling that stretch in the left quad. Feeling that slow release happening. As I always say, the stretch reflex takes at least 30 seconds to kick in. That's why we hold our stretches for so long. On your next inhale, let's transition to that half frog, dragging the right knee up towards the right hip, creating that 90-degree angle with the right leg. Left leg stays extended long behind us. Great inner thigh, inner hip stretch. Good. Taking the last couple breaths here. In through the nose, out through your mouth. And on your next exhale, let's go ahead and release that leg back out long behind us. And we're going to roll over onto our backs. And you can transition there as gracefully as you want. What I just did was not very graceful. Just rolled over. Once we get onto our backs in a comfortable lying position, getting towels or pillows placed where we might need them, we're going to go ahead into that lying figure 4 stretch. So I'm going to get both feet planted on the mat, knees up towards the ceiling. And I'm going to raise my right leg up, extend it towards the ceiling. So foot is towards the ceiling, right leg is extended. And I might just hold it here for a second. So let's get our right hand, maybe both hands behind that right thigh, and kind of pull that leg towards us. Ooh, feeling a nice stretch along the back side of the leg. And on your next exhale, go ahead and slowly lower that right ankle to the top of the left thigh, left knee, and let that right knee fall out to the side. Option to stay here if this stretch is good and great, or if you need a little deeper stretch, go ahead and take both of your hands, grab the back of your left thigh, and pull that left knee towards your body, towards your face. A great glute and right hip stretch. Feeling our bodies release tension with every exhale. On your next exhale, we can release that right leg, extend it towards the ceiling again, and lower it back down to the floor. So right foot now flat on the mat, knee pointing up, and we will hit that other side. So let's extend the left leg long and foot towards the ceiling, grabbing the back of the left thigh with both hands and gently pulling that leg towards our face. Taking a big inhale and then exhale, dropping the right ankle left ankle to the top of the right thigh, right knee. Left knee naturally falls out to the left in our figure 4. We can stay here with this nice gentle stretch, or we can add a little more by grabbing the back of the right thigh and pulling that right knee towards our face. Take one last big inhale and exhale, releasing the stretch, placing the left foot back down flat on the mat. Next, we're going to transition to a lower back twist, or a small lower back twist. So we're going to start with cactus arms first. So taking both arms out to the sides from my shoulder, and then I'm going to bend them both at 90 degrees, fingertips going up towards the top of my head. Knees are still pointed towards the ceiling. I'm going to gently drop both knees down over to the left. Left knee will probably hit the floor. Right knee might just hover over the left. We're going to sit with this gentle twist and our cactus arms stretching out the chest and shoulders. You might feel some pops in your lower back. Make sure they're gentle, no pain. And let's go ahead and take a big inhale through our nose. Bring the knees back up to center and exhale. Now dropping them down to the right. Still taking those breaths. And let's take a nice big inhale. Bring the knees back to center. We can release those cactus arms if you like. Both my feet are flat on the mat. Knees are pointing up. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to transition to a lying butterfly. So the bottoms of my feet will come together. My knees will drop out to the sides. And I can just place my hands on my belly or wherever it's comfortable, but I like to place them on my belly so I can really feel how deep of a breath I can take in this pose, this stretch. And feel free to use supports if you need them under your knees or kind of near your hips or your low back, whatever feels good. Just take those deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. This is a great tension release exercise. Let's go ahead and take another big inhale. You can bring the knees back together, feet flat to the mat. And let's extend our legs back out long as we're in this lying position. Now we're going to do that lying full body twist. So I'm going to raise my right leg up to the sky. And I'm going to drop the right leg over to the left side, bringing at least the knee to the floor. And then I'm going to reach my right arm out from the shoulder and turn my nose to face my right hand. So nice full spinal twist here. I can use my left hand to support that right knee. Go a couple more breaths here. And on your next inhale, let's raise that right leg back up towards the ceiling, and we can drop it down to the floor. And let's repeat with that left leg, extending it towards the ceiling and gently dropping it over to the right. Left knee comes to the ground. Left arm extends from my shoulder, and I'm going to turn my nose to face my left fingertips. Full spinal twist. Just noticing things about your body. You have more range one way than the other. And why could that be? Not being frustrated, just noticing. Taking just a couple more breaths here. And on your next inhale, let's go ahead and bring that leg back to center, and we can drop it down. Last lying stretch or relaxation here. We're going to bring both knees up towards our chest, and we're going to give them a big hug. And we're just going to roll out our lower back. We can draw circles, or we can just go right to left. We can go up and down. We do have freedom with this one here, just whatever feels good. And on your next breath, go ahead and roll yourself up to seated, and just find a comfortable way to sit. We're going to be doing some upper body and shoulder stretches. So if you like crisscross, or you just want your legs out in front of you, whatever feels good. We're going to start just with our chest opener stretch. So I'm going to make sure I'm having great posture. I'm going to bring my chest up, nice and proud. Crown of my head is towards the ceiling, of course, and my neck is engaged. I'm not slouching. I'm nice, good posture. And I'm going to interlace my fingers behind my back, and I'm just going to pull those shoulders open, pull my chest to the ceiling, and gently bring my gaze, my nose up to the ceiling as well. Just opening those chest muscles. Our interlaced hands can be resting behind us. Make sure we're still taking those nice big breaths. On your next breath, go ahead and release that stretch. We're going to go for a left side stretch. So I'm going to extend my right arm up overhead from my shoulder, so fingertips towards the ceiling. I'm going to take my right hand, and I'm going to grab my left wrist. I'm going to gently pull that left arm over to the right. So I'm overhead, feeling a nice gentle stretch along the left side of my back, left shoulder. And again, challenging that posture. Seeing if we can keep our core muscles engaged and our back from slouching. Let's go ahead and switch. We can stay with both hands up overhead, but now I'm going to grab my right wrist with my left hand and gently pull it over to the left. Take 2 more breaths here. And let's come back to center and we can release the arms down. Shake out the shoulders a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and give ourselves a big hug. I'm going to take my right hand to the back of my left shoulder and my left hand to the back of my right shoulder. So kind of reaching behind my back. I'm just going to pull or push those shoulders out in front of me, releasing. I'm just kind of opening up the shoulder blades. Like you're giving yourself a big hug. Thanking your body for all the things it does for you. We can add a little bit of neck stretching. So taking right ear down towards left shoulder and left ear to left shoulder. Sorry, right ear to right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder. Getting sleepy, I think. Just going gently side to side with your head. Let's nod our head. Yes. So tucking the chin and taking the nose to the ceiling. And let's release that big hug. Feeling how the shoulders have really loosened up. We're going to do that cross-body shoulder stretch now. So I'm going to extend my right arm out in front of me. I'm going to cross it over the center of my body towards the left. I'm going to use my left elbow to hook my right elbow and pull that right arm into my chest. Feeling a nice stretch along the back of the right arm, kind of in that shoulder, tricep area. And remember to actively depress or push your right shoulder down while holding the stretch. Add some wrist circles as well. So taking the right wrist and just drawing some gentle circles with it. 2 clockwise, 2 counterclockwise. On your next exhale, go ahead and release that side stretch. Let's roll the shoulders back and down. Put them back in our back pockets, shoulder blades back pockets. And we'll repeat with our left arm, raising it out about shoulder height, crossing the center of my body, hooking left elbow with right elbow, pulling the left arm into the chest, and pushing the shoulder down. And adding those wrist circles with the left wrist now, 2 clockwise, 2 counterclockwise. Taking just a couple more deep breaths here. And let's go ahead and release that left arm and gently bring yourself to a standing position. We're going to end our relaxing deep stretch today with a sun salutation, just so we can head into our weekend with good vibes. So we'll start in a neutral standing position, feet under hips, toes facing forward. Let's take a nice big inhale. Extend the arms out to the sides and up overhead, as long as we can reach. And let's exhale, forward fold, reaching my hands down towards the mat, towards my feet. Inhale for a half lift, taking my hands to my shins, flattening my back. Exhale, full forward fold. Hang out here for just a second. And one last big inhale. Reaching up overhead, palms together and lowering in front of our face and chest. And give yourselves a pat on the back. Thank you for showing up today. I hope you're feeling relaxed and stretched and ready for an awesome